A new drone delivery service, autonomous cars get practice not hitting children in costume, and Google says that rock and roll and Chrome are here to stay. Tech News Tonight is next.
This is Twit.
This is Tech News Tonight, episode 458 from Monday, November 2nd, 2015. This episode is brought to you by Epson's new EcoTank printers. With Epson's line of SuperTank all-in-one printers, you can print thousands of documents without running out of ink. EcoTank is loaded and ready to print when you are. Visit epson.com/ecotank to find out more. Welcome, I'm Megan Maroney. Let's get to the tech news. Hewlett-Packard is officially two companies as of today. The new HP will sell PCs and printers under the leadership of the new CEO, Dion Weisler. HP Part 2 will be known as Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, will be headed by CEO Meg Whitman. They will sell business systems and services. Last week, we talked about the BlackBerry Priv, the first Android BlackBerry that was available for pre-order. Today, BlackBerry officially announced the release of the BlackBerry Priv with a slide-out keyboard, a 5-inch screen, all of Google's services, with a focus on protecting your personal information. It will be available on November 6th. The phone costs $700 if you buy it outright. It's $249 with a 2-year contract on AT&T. The BBC says Alphabet will launch a commercial drone delivery service in 2017. We first heard about Google's Project Wing in 2014. Details of the secret project leaked when test drones were spotted in Australia. Rumors suggested the drones would be used for disaster relief. But at an air traffic control convention in Washington today, David Voss, Project Wing's leader, offered up the projected date of 2017 for the new delivery drones to take flight. He did not give any other details about what types of drones they might use or what kinds of packages they would deliver. Coming up, we'll talk to Ron Amadeo from Ars Technica about whether or not the Chrome OS is dead. But first, this episode is brought to you by Epson. Epson's revolutionary EcoTank line of printers for home and office introduce a new age in printing. The new EcoTank ET4550 wireless all-in-one printer doesn't use ink cartridges. Instead, it features an innovative refillable ink tank. It comes with enough ink to print up to 8,500 pages, equivalent to about 50 ink cartridge sets. You're loaded and ready to print for up to 2 years. Powered by Epson's leading-edge precision core technology, it delivers high-speed, vivid colors, and laser-quality black text. Plus, auto two-sided printing, a 30-page auto document feeder, and easy wireless printing from tablets and smartphones. Visit epson.com/ecotank today to transform the way your home, office, or work group prints. For the best combination of ease and value, turn to the new Epson EcoTank printers. That's epson.com/ecotank, and we thank Epson for their support. Epson, exceed your vision. Last week, we told you about a Wall Street Journal report that said that Google was planning to fold the Chrome OS into Android in 2017. Sources said PCs would be running Android instead of Chrome. Then follow-up reports claimed this wasn't all correct and that PC makers would be able to choose between the two. Our guest tonight writes that a 3OS lineup would be messy, indecisive, and confusing for consumers, and it sounds exactly like something Google would do. Welcome, Ron Amadeo, reviews editor at Ars Technica.
Hi, Megan. Great to be here.
That was a great line in your piece that you wrote over the weekend. I know you have another piece with the follow-up that'll be out imminently, hopefully by the time you're watching this. Tell us what sources originally told the Wall Street Journal.
The Journal, I mean, everything here kind of, everyone's kind of in agreement on what's going to happen, actually. The Journal said that Chrome OS would be folded into Android, which kind of sounds like maybe Chrome OS would go away, but the Wall Street Journal report also says in there that Chrome OS isn't going to die completely, that it would continue as kind of time goes on. They'll maybe transfer from one to the other, but they never said that they were going to instantly shut down Chrome OS. And then all of these follow-up reports came out, and I think a lot of the people that rewrote the article kind of added the Chrome OS is dying part to it. And then a lot of these follow-up reports were like, yeah, Chrome OS isn't going to die, and they're going to have multiple operating systems to kind of pick from.
And I guess what you're saying is that would be really confusing, and that's what Google does all the time.
Yeah, Google likes to have multiple products that compete with one another. I think what's going to end up happening with this, though, is more like what happens when, like, when you have Windows 7 and Windows 8 comes out, like they don't instantly kill Windows 7. Um, just it becomes the old thing, and all the focus is toward the new thing. And while Google will probably still do like maintenance releases and security patches for Chrome OS, you could easily see them kind of taking this new hybrid operating system and kind of putting all of their effort toward that, and all the new feature development could happen there and things like that.
So Hiroshi Lockheimer, the new senior vice president of Android and Chrome, he tweeted, Chrome isn't going away. I just bought my kids, 2 Chromebooks. A lot of people were upset. I mean, even Jeff Jarvis, who hosts This Week in Google, he's like, I just bought a Chromebook. I've used Chrome. I think he said, I've used Chrome OS exclusively. Like this, why were people frightened about this? I mean, if it's what you're saying, it's gonna be a better product. What was scary to people about Chrome going away?
Chrome OS is pretty much the only simple operating system out there, where just about every operating system tries to be everything to everyone. Chrome OS is just a browser. And if you're like a school or a business, it makes it really easy to lock down because it's just a browser. You can go to websites. You really can't install a bunch of apps that are going to break things. Everything can be so tied down that it can be like kind of a bulletproof OS that you can just throw in front of a user and they're really not going to be able to break it. And it updated really quickly and just kind of handled security of the operating system and updates for the operating system really well, which are things that Android is really bad at today. So I think any kind of hybrid product that would replace Chrome OS would require, if you're going to use Android, it's going to require a lot of changes in order to be successful or a viable replacement.
It's so true. I mean, when you talk about schools, my kids had Chromebooks in their school, and it is ideal for that. I mean, because they can't, that was previously the big problem with schools, kids downloading things, getting viruses, nobody doing the updates they needed to do. And now it really is ideal. Like you can log in with your user ID. The schools know what everyone does, and and they don't have to worry about all that malware. Do you think that's I wondered in his post, because he said, I just, bought these for my first and third grader. I wondered if that was the future of Chrome OS, really schools. And you've mentioned businesses too. It would have to be a very specific business that could get by with just Chrome OS, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, in terms of like, if someone at a business is doing like a single job and they need to use some web app or something, that's what businesses like it for a lot of times. But I think Android has done a lot of work in kind of the management area. Like they released Android for Work with Lollipop, and one of the new features in Marshmallow is a kiosk mode, which will let you lock down Android to a single app. So with this, you could kind of replicate Chrome OS, where you load up Android and lock it into only a browser. And then people wouldn't be able to install anything or really mess with too many settings. So you can kind of see how they could like progress to an Android-based operating system that kind of handles this use case. But also, I mean, what the Google executive said there is what pretty much anybody in that situation will say. Like the Wall Street Journal said that the new operating system wouldn't be out until 2017. So no matter what's going to happen, you have to say the current thing that we have for sale is fine and will be around, then you should buy one, because otherwise you're going to have like a year and a half or 2 years of not having any kind of product in this area at all. So to me, it's not, I don't necessarily think that Chrome OS is going to be like instantly killed, but the message you're getting from Google is not from a reliable point of view. I mean, they have to say this. They have to still support Chrome OS because that's what's for sale.
Right. I mean, it was a little bit of a different situation with like Windows 10. I mean, we knew that was coming for a long time, and it was going to be pretty different than Windows 8. But people weren't really, did people have the same reaction of like, don't do Windows 10? Maybe when it's numbered, people feel safer, like this is just going to be improvement versus something that people see as very different.
Yeah, I mean, the idea with Windows 10 is that you could upgrade to this and it's a free upgrade for pretty much everybody. But also, the case was that people didn't really like Windows 8. So saying that Windows 10 was coming is a lot better for Microsoft, because it's, hey, we have this new thing coming. You can still invest in the Microsoft ecosystem, and the main message there is probably something like, don't buy a Mac for Microsoft. They're giving free updates, and that was fine.
Right.
But this, no one's really sure if, like, are Chromebooks going to go away? Will Chromebooks be updated to this new thing? I mean, the Wall Street Journal report mentioned that Chromebooks would be getting a new name, which presumably means they wouldn't run Chrome OS anymore. So we're not too sure what's going to happen here in the future.
But they followed it up. Hiroshi Lockheimer followed it up with a post today. Chrome OS is here to stay. So I guess they're feeling maybe a little bit defensive about this.
Yeah, it's interesting. He said there were going to be plenty of Chrome OS devices in 2016, which does not shut down the Wall Street Journal report, which said that they were going to have this new OS in 2017. So I mean, they're not coming out and saying this is completely wrong. Everything the Wall Street Journal said is wrong. Like what that post says doesn't conflict with the Wall Street Journal report at all. It's just they're talking about two different time frames.
So the Pixel C, Google's Pixel C, that essentially runs Android?
Yeah, the Pixel C is weird. It's a laptop. It's a hybrid tablet with a keyboard dock that runs Android, and usually this Pixel stuff runs Chrome OS. No one's really sure what the thinking is here, because even if you completely believe the Wall Street Journal report, this new OS will be out in 2017. So the Pixel C would be a year and a half old at that point. So the Pixel C in my book still kind of ranks as a wacky experiment by Google. Like maybe they need something to develop this new operating system on, so they created this hardware. But in terms of consumers, like it's going to run your basic tablet version of Android, and they're working on a multi-window solution for tablets, but it's not ready yet. So we're not really sure what the deal is with the Pixel C.
So do you think they're waiting to see what happens with Windows 10? I mean, because Windows 10 is out now, you have this unified experience across mobile and the desktop, and there's the hybrid that they have, the tablet hybrid, Surface Book. Do you think Google's just waiting to see which way it will go? Because I mean, Apple seems like they're stuck. No one has heard anything about ever getting rid of OS 10. Like that's, they're going to be separate. But it seems like that Google's right in the middle. Do you think they're waiting to see what happens, how that works out, how people like having the same operating system on the desktop and mobile?
It's definitely a protectionism thing. It's got to be super scary for them that Microsoft is taking, Windows, the operating system that runs on, every business PC and a bunch of consumer PCs out there, and taking it and kind of putting it on phones and tablets and all this other stuff. And it occupies a space that Android doesn't. And if you kind of look at the Android lineup, Google builds Androids for watches and phones and tablets and cars, and they stop once you get any bigger than that. So it definitely makes sense to kind of expand it to the other bigger form factors that they're ignoring, laptops and desktop PCs. And, really kind of, if Microsoft's going to come down to their level, they need to go up to Microsoft's screen size level and duke it out, I guess. And, the whole point of this is to get the Google Play ecosystem on more devices, because that really has become one of like the core strengths of Google as a company, that they have this giant Android app ecosystem and all these developers, and that they control the only viable entry point into that, which is the Google Play Store, has just been a source of like so much power and control for them. And this is a company where traditionally, skipping out on Google stuff just means changing the URL in your browser or something. But they have all of this sticky services and an ecosystem that you can invest in now. And I think they're trying to expand that to as many devices as they can.
And so the one other thing that the Google blog entry today mentioned was the Asus Chromebit. How does that fit in?
The Chromebit is just kind of, the goal is to get the cheapest possible Chrome OS device out there. I mean, this was announced a long time ago. It was supposed to come out in March, I think, and nobody really. I guess it got delayed or something, because it's not out yet. And what it says it's going to be out soon. It was supposed to come out in the summer, but the goal is to just get Chrome OS on devices as cheap as possible. And when you skip out on keyboards and screens and all that other extra stuff that's part of a laptop, they can get this down to like $85 or something like that.
Well, Ron Amadeo, thank you so much for joining us. Ron is the reviews editor at Ars Technica. He's at Ron Amadeo on Twitter. Have a great night.
You too. Thanks.
Take care. And finally tonight, Engadget reports that the company's self-driving cars, Google's self-driving cars, are programmed to be safer around children. Last week, the autonomous vehicle team enlisted parents who were willing to test the car sensors by having their costumed children walk in front of the vehicles while they were parked. Hopefully, the children were also hopped up on buckets full of sugar for real Halloween accuracy. And that is it for this edition of Tech News Tonight. You can subscribe to this show at twit.tv/TN2. You can write to us at tn2@twit.tv, and you can watch live every weekday at 4 p.m. Pacific. You can also watch on the Apple TV if you have that. If you need to set up your Apple TV, watch today's iOS Today, because in an exhausting and terrifying couple of hours, we set up our Apple TV, and we can show you how to set yours up too, and also get the Twit app so you can watch us on your big screen. And don't, of course, miss our morning news program, Tech News Today, every weekday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm Megan Maroney. Thanks for watching.
Bandwidth for Tech News Tonight is brought to you by CashFly.com.